It's Wednesday on Yourview. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the latest with me. Alaja Nima Akashat Zabiri. How are you? It's a rainy Wednesday.
Rainy. I hope my house is not flooded. Because we are like lucky, we get flooded. I'm just praying. I drove in a heavy flood along Lagos roads all the way. I'm just grateful to the past administration for at least upgrading the Upper Oshodi Expressway. It was full of water, but it looked well channeled. And I know the dry area, so I know when this place is higher, and that was how we paddled all the way to work.
Yes, I went to Agbara last weekend, and the road, I was surprised. I got to Agbara exactly 1 hour.
Wow.
I thought it was 2 hours, an hour and a half. 1 hour I was in Agbara. I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm happy about the road.
It's our Agbara you call like that. So I just want to say shout out to Yasmin Lights Photography. She's based in Kaduna, I think. She's been a fan of the show. I saw her daughter. She's an artist. She was exhibiting at the Alara Festival. Okay. And we took pictures, and I saw... I didn't know the girl was her daughter. I took pictures with her, and then her mom sends me a message again and said, I was like, okay. So she's a serious fan of the show. She knows all the ladies personally from watching. And I want to say well done. Thank you so much for the love.
Love you right back.
To your daughter.
Yeah.
Amaka Fresh.
Hi, everybody.
You'll be tired.
No, it's just the weather. You know how like the weather yes, it just dampens, but no, I'm not going to let it do that. So yesterday we had showers of rain. I don't know if it happened this way, but on the island. And then when I wanted to go home, everyone was flooded. I'm wondering, like, is this small rain? So I'm just worried, like, what will happen today? Because it's just been heavy.
Whenever I see rain, I just pray for like those living in Lekki. I'm just imagining how are they in my
gosh.
In Lekki people. Me now, all this rain, Bagodo is slightly flooded. But in about after 10 minutes of the rain, it's gone.
So it's gone.
And I'm just feeling bad for those in Lekki.
It's terrible. I'm just happy at least the third mainland bridge they've done.
It's flooded in Alimosho.
Alimosho, sorry, Alimosho.
You know, Koba, they have floods.
Oh, sorry.
So in their areas, Lagos
those of us that live in Magodo, we don't understand how you feel. But we appreciate that God is with you. And the flood will eventually go.
Yes,
But your own area doesn't really get flooded.
No, not really. But you know the roads and everything. It's crazy. I can imagine the traffic. I can imagine the traffic today.
So when Mr. Environmental says he wants to start pulling down houses that are blocking the channels, I think people have a better understanding.
The ones they put down, how effective have they been with the flood?
No, that's a good question. Let us find out.
Because my office, where my office is like, you know, the water passes through. And it rained yesterday on Monday when I was leaving the office. I usually drive off when it starts raining because I don't want to stay when the flood has gathered and there's traffic. And so I saw the water, I was like, what the beauty will then break.
Well, can't they channel it back to the waters? Like,
I don't know. I'm sure they're working on that.
They need to redesign Lagos.
Okay, we have to go on a break, but we're still expecting Mariam. Mariam is stuck in traffic. Yes. Traffic is crazy coming in from her end, so she's somewhere close. Hopefully, before the end of the show, we'll have her on, but definitely she's supposed to be on this show. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Yourview will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, we're going to start with the nation. Government targets passage of new tax laws in Q3. It's impossible to create jobs with high interest on loans, says Dangote. Varsities face another round of disruption. And some stories inside the papers. So I think let's take a few stories.
Okay.
Dangote was speaking at the conference, a conference organized by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria. He was in Abuja. I'm trying to get the exact name. He said one of the major impediments to job creation and speedy economic growth in the country is high interest rates because it discourages investments and it hampers economic growth. He was talking about the 26.25% interest rate that the CBN recently fixed. He said it will incapacitate the manufacturing sector and make it more difficult for the economic to grow. He delivered the keynote address at the opening of a 3-day event at the National Manufacturing Policy Summit organized by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria at the State House Conference in Abuja. Also in attendance was the Vice President Kashim Shettima, who is chair of the National Economic Council, and he reiterated that they are determined to team up with MAN to fashion out actionable roadmap and policy framework for the sector. But the businessman has shown us that the rich also cry. These policies have been stifling SMEs and some businesses, and if the richest one in Africa is talking about it, it's time for us to pay attention. You know, one of the largest employers of labor privately cannot be objecting to setting new policies around taxes, and will take it with levity before all the small businesses go back up.
Okay, so Mr. Mele Kyari, that's the Group Chief Executive Officer of the NNPCL, has said that he's going to declare a state of emergency on crude oil and gas production in the country. He was saying that we are to boost the nation's production capacity for foreign reserves. He was speaking yesterday at an event. He was a keynote address at the 23rd edition of the Nigeria Oil and Gas Conference in Abuja. So he said that the state of emergency will be focusing on tackling all major obstacles to effective, efficient crude and gas production in our nation. Added that the 12 compressed natural gas, the CNG stations, will be inaugurated today. I think he said tomorrow, so I'm assuming today in Abuja. That's really exciting. He explained that all the detailed analysis of assets will be that bedevil the country, could conveniently produce millions of barrels eventually. So I'm happy that the CNG stations will be commissioned today, and we'll see how many will be rolling out at first in Abuja and then other major parts of the country. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so I have activities on university campuses may be grounded from tomorrow. Non-teaching staff are set to down tools. The workers are seeking payment of their 4-month salary arrears and to resume the payment of the 35,000 Naira wage award announced in October last year by the president. The umbrella body, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, resolved the action during their 48th regular National Executive Council meeting in Benin, Edo State on June 27th and 28th. The Joint Action Committee of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions and SANU had held on June 20, 2024, where they sent a letter to the Education Minister, Professor Tahir Maman, informing him that their members would begin a work boycott in 2 weeks if their demands were not met, and the ultimatum ends tomorrow. Also, they are happy, Also, they are not begrudging their staffs. There are some of their staff members that were paid their own 35,000 Naira. But they are saying that some states have paid, many states are yet to effect payment of the wage award to their members in their universities, hereby increasing their economic woes, while some have not. That on the minimum wage, SANU asked the government to comply with the demands of labor and hasten the process of negotiation, approval, and implementation.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Moving on now to the Punch. Cholera, 33 states battle 2,102 cases as NYSC enforces strict camp rules. Tinubu seeks National Assembly's nod as tax regime begins in January. CBN threatens to sanction banks rejecting old dollar notes. 5 to die by hanging for herders killing in Osun. Southeast governors to meet Tinubu for Nnamdi Kanu's release. FG directs MDAs to patronize made in Nigeria goods. And Dangote decries high interest rates, seeks government intervention. Okay, the Southeast Governors Forum on Tuesday resolved to visit President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and interfere with the federal government to secure the release of the detained leader of IPOB, that's Indigenous People of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The governors made the resolution at their meeting on Tuesday in Enugu. The meeting lasted about 6 hours, had in attendance all the 5 Southeast governors, Peter Umba, Charles Soludo, Alex Oti, Francis Mfufuru, and others. So in a 5-point committee, jointly signed by all governors, the forum resolved to activate actionable plans with a view to implementing the report of the Southeast Security and Economic Summit held in Owerri last year. The forum said they're going to be discussing the pressing issues with Mr. President and hoping to appeal to him to secure the release of Mr. Nnamdi Kanu as soon as possible.
Okay. Let me take the picture story. So, just as I said, the Vice President was chair of the summit where the Africa's richest man was speaking. And he said that they have called for the prioritization of local content and promotion of made in Nigeria goods, citing Executive Order 003. This makes the patronage of locally manufactured products mandatory, and that's the executive order is still in effect. He said that the federal government is also looking to partner, or has partnered, the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to devise an actionable roadmap and policy framework that will refurbish the nation's manufacturing sector. He then affirmed that the framework would be speedily implemented. He also said that after declaring the National Manufacturing Policy Summit open yesterday, he said that he regretted that the sector has endured a series of setbacks over the past decades. Then he said that, let me read, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I implore you to all leverage this summit to develop an actionable plan and to create changes we want in the manufacturing sector. I assure you that we shall always maintain an open door policy. He then stressed that there's a need to support local firms. Let us be reminded that we cannot achieve progress in our drive for industrialization unless we deliberately promote the production of capital goods, and we must focus on expanding our production base, prioritizing local content, and promoting made in Nigeria goods. And I'm wondering, we've heard this over and over, which Nigerian good is not good for the government? Because if this executive order is in effect, why would they buy cars from Japan? When we have locally made Nigerian cars, JC, Innocent, we have them assembled here. We make this law, we then exempt it from certain goods as per politicians' biases and preferences. Right?
Okay.
So I have the Central Bank of Nigeria has warned against the continued rejection of old series and lower denominations of the United States of American dollars by its regulated entities in Nigeria. The bank threatened to sanction lenders that reject the currencies. This was contained in a circular dated June 27, signed by the acting director, Solaji Olayemi, which was recently released on the website of the Access Bank. The circular directed at deposit money banks, bureau de change operators, and the general public cautioned against the continuous rejection of the old series and lower denominations. And the CBN said that this fresh circular followed the outcome of its consumer market intelligence, which revealed the continuation of that. That is really wrong, because it has happened to me at 2 different banks. And I keep telling them, but there's nothing wrong with this money. Why are you rejecting it? So he said...
it's smaller, like $1, $5?
Like $1, $5, yes. That, and then they will tell you, most times they'll tell you that it's old, or that the money can be new. They'll just say, but it's torn a bit. Yeah. I said, but this is a bank. You should be able to do something with it. So they said, for the avoidance of doubt and further guidance on the circular, the content is hereby reissued as follows for strict compliance. All DMBs and authorized forex dealers should henceforth accept both old series and lower denominations. Exactly. That's why you're a bank.
Sometimes over-sabi they do. Over-sabi. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're still reviewing the papers. We're moving on now to Vanguard. Why prices of food items will soar higher, says investigation. Businesses won't survive at 30% interest rate, says Dangote. How public debt hit $91.46 billion despite generating $1 trillion in 40 days, says Agbakuba. CBN to sanction banks for rejecting old and small dollar denominations. Okay.
Okay, so I have the major headline, why prices of food items will continue to soar. And the Vanguard went round town. They asked farmers, and one of the farmers one Mrs. Anato Ajiji in the tomato market, Bauchi Ring Road in Jos, said they no longer tell people the price of tomato until you are out to buy. Because if they tell you if they sell for 4,000, you can come in the morning, it's 8,000. You can come in the afternoon, it's even dropped to 2,000. So nobody tells you until you're there to buy at a time. And he said this is making things difficult because Nigerians' purchasing power is still dwindling. And the various high cost of transportation increasing inability of farmers to go to farm due to insecurity, foreign exchange, climate change effects, multiple taxation, late release of budget allocation, rising inflation. Some of the reasons our prices continue to go up and down. Also, the leading lawyer, Lisa Agbakoba, mentioned how government must fight hunger and avert looming riots. The House of Reps have also urged the federal government to collaborate with state government to address food insecurity. But the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics now gave us details. Said the average price of local rice is at 1 kg is about 1,700. They said 1,608.89, indicating an increase of 189.79% in the year-on-year price increase, and it went from 555 to that amount. Also, beans has gone from 1 kg beans has gone from 629 naira per kg to 2,000 plus kg per kg, and they took all the details, all the food stuff that we usually.
It's a good thing that I'm taking this story just immediately after you, because Sabakoba here also told us the reason why. It's macheted more the reasons why we're not creating enough revenue for the country. Human rights activist and senior lawyer Dr. Lisa Bakoba's son yesterday said Nigeria's public debt rose to $91.46 billion, despite the ability to generate $1 trillion in 40 years. Bakoba identified the alleged exclusion of Nigerians from key value chains, weak enforcement of local content laws, incorporation of foreign agreements, tax avoidance, and corruption as possible reasons for the development. He also called for the implementation of new measures, including the increase of Nigerians' participation in legal services, shipping, banking, insurance, drilling, oilfield services, and engineering within the oil and gas industry. In his presentation titled "The Paradox of Nigeria's Oil and Gas Industry," a policy paper, at an engagement with the media in houses, Abakoba said over the past 40 years, the cumulative revenue from oil and gas has exceeded $1 trillion, an amount that should have been sufficient to transform the nation's economy and infrastructure. He also said that funds from crude oil production are often domiciled in foreign banks, and sometimes they hold it for months before remitting them to the central bank, depriving Nigerians of substantial business and economy of potential multiplier effects. They also push that most of the jobs, drilling jobs, shipping jobs, are given to IOCs, right? And then they don't even transfer those skills, the technical skills, to Nigerians. Yes, so it's always a problem for us. And finally, he ended with something that, I think that I'm very keen on here. He said that, one sec. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
My stuff went up.
While you're looking for that, let me take the other story.
All right.
In the Nigerian Tribune. We'll come back to your story. Okay. The Nigerian Tribune. Businesses can't grow at 30%. We talked about that already from Dangote. Parties knock Wiki over threat on Kinjibe. Sumal workers protest. 1 dead, 12 suspects arrested. NNPCL declares state of emergency on crude oil production. Adopt July 13th as Wole Soyinka Day. Safiyyah Kassim advises. Kano Emir tussle. Court to hear suits tomorrow. Bandits kill lecturer in Katsina, abduct his children. And FG clears $850 million debt to EU airlines. Okay, before I take my story, you have one.
Okay, yes. So he said that oil rig companies have formed a cartel for tax avoidance with NIMASA. I find this so worrisome. Confirming that they do not collect tax from oil rigs, and that this reflects a massive loss on potential government revenues, because the oil rigs revenue alone brings up to 3 trillion naira yearly. Imagine the amount of money we're losing. Do you understand? Which forms like 15% of the national budget. That's a lot of money. So that the loss of this revenue significantly impacts the government's ability to fund. So, yes, we need to do a lot better. We're going through an economic crisis, whether we like it or not. And letting such monies move to the foreign, to the IOCs and foreign countries doesn't even make sense for the Nigerian economy.
So let me take this story from the Alaki of Ekbalan about Dr. Adedotun Gbadebo. He has urged the federal government to declare July 13th, which is the birthday of Professor Wole Soyinka, as Professor Wole Soyinka Day, in honor of the literary icon. He said this on Tuesday at the sideline of the Royal World Press conference launch with editors selected from some media organizations at the Ake Palace in Abeokuta to commemorate the 90th birthday of Soyinka. He was asking that the federal government to bestow the second highest national honor of the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON, on the first Black African Nobel laureate in literature. Gbadebo also, flanked by the celebrant Wole Soyinka and others, said that July 13 has been declared Wole Soyinka Day in Igbaland to further amplify Soyinka's uncommon achievements. Okay, any other story in Tribune?
Yeah, I have the bandits attack Foodman lecturer. So there was an attack at the low-cost Yarima quarters around 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday, and the bandits attacked the residence of a lecturer, Dr. Thierry Gian David, who was the head of the Department of Agricultural Economics Extension and Rural Development of Federal University, Dushima. And sadly, they killed him. And an eyewitness said that they started shooting, they heard the shooting, and they were all awoke by that noise by 1:30 a.m. The gunshot was all over the community. The night was scary, according to the eyewitness. And they said they left with 2 of the children of the late lecturer, and who they've not heard from them. When Tribune contacted the spokesman of the police command, he confirmed the incident and said that they would soon release a statement, but nothing has been heard about the children.
Okay, our final paper, the New Telegraph. Let's find a story. Nigerians spent 16.5 trillion on self-generated electricity, says Adelabu. Senate approves Kalu's motion on flood menace. Dollar. Again, CBN threatens to sanction banks over rejection of old denominations. Tinubu enjoys rock-solid support in the north, says Defense Minister. And Senate steps up move to decriminalize non-use of NIN. I have the Minister of Power's story here. He says Nigerians, according to a report, Nigerians spent 16.5 trillion on self-generated electricity before Uncle, particularly fueling and servicing of generators, the minister was saying. He said the figure was arrived by research that was carried out back in 2023. He spoke yesterday while delivering his speech at the Niger Oil and Gas Energy Week. He said that what Nigerians spend on self-generation of power, on fueling and servicing, is 16.5 trillion, according to research. Looking at this, you will see that what Band A consumers pay is still cheaper compared to this, despite having 24 hours uninterrupted supply. He keeps insisting we're having 24 hours uninterrupted supply. I don't know me, I don't have 24 hours uninterrupted. The minister opined that as Nigeria continues to embark on an extraordinary journey towards zero carbon emissions, it is crucial to ensure that a more just, affordable and sustainable energy system is adopted to address the industry's most pressing challenge and unlock limitless potential in achieving its objectives. Well, I don't know. We'll see how that goes with the minister. But the truth is that that 16.5 trillion, I'm sure, would have probably increased by now, because those who are under Band A would rather find ways to self-generate than pay that money to the federal government.
When they're not getting the value for their money.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review this morning. When we come back, we're going to start with the hot topic of today. Hopefully, Mariam will be all right. We'll be here by then. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. It's a rainy day today, but so on social media, we're seeing some stories that caught our attention, and we just thought it was worth talking about because it's the reality that we face. So, a Nigerian certified marriage counselor and educator, Safiyyah Kassim, said that a woman's respect and submissiveness for her husband will naturally reduce if she's the one providing for the family. Now, lots of people have commented on this, and there have been so many angles to this. Nima was going to share a few angles from different people who had different perspective on this, and I'd like us to use that as a reference for our conversation. Go ahead, Nima.
So, Ibrahim Chatta, the actor, had trended one time when he was talking about men having a small wife plan. That when you grow old in one marriage, there's a likelihood that the woman will not be kind to you in old age. And so a man must have 2, 3 other women. Don't marry one wife. And he trended at the time when he said it. Also, one OAP in Kogi recently had his divorce, and he mentioned that his regret was not having another wife, backup plan. And I'm wondering, this statement is becoming true. It brings in context for me this statement by the relationship coach. What did you call it now? You know, that a certified marriage coach saying that women would most likely, over time, reduce the respect they have for a man if they continue to provide. And having listened to BC over time, there's no better truth for me than what this marriage coach said. Because BC talks about, there was a day we were on the show, she was talking about, we called it, the day that we called it a damsel in distress show. And we're saying, I'm a damsel, but I'm not in distress. And she said, no, you have to be in distress. As a woman, you must be in need. You know, feminine energy, your feminine energy as opposed to masculine energy, that, you know, a woman starts to grow masculine energy over time. And when you pair it with what this marriage coach has said, it's true.
But, you know, when you look at it again, just trying to understand it from different perspective, when you say in Africa, or even men generally, love for a man is respect. And if love for a man is respect, how does a woman sustain that respect when she's financially and economically empowered? That's really the conversation. Yeah. So to him, she's no more this damsel in distress or somebody who respects me. So because she feels empowered. Now, does it now mean, goes to show why polygamy, they say, is somewhat, and I'm trying to be very careful with my words here, because they say, oh, African men are polygamous in nature. I mean, we say, I beg, don't give us that perspective. But the truth is that if love to a man is respect, and the woman being empowered diminishing that respect, should we therefore begin to consider the possibility of sharing?
Okay. That's going too far.
Okay.
That's going too far, right?
Yes, I think that's going far. So for a woman to be economically and financially empowered doesn't and shouldn't diminish the respect she has for a man, right? I believe that we all have different rules coming into this world, right? Even from religion. We don't want to even come from that angle. Where even in the Bible it says a man is a provider, okay? A man is the head of the family, and then the woman should submit and be respected. And you find out that you submit to somebody that you see as a head, as a leader over you, and that comes with certain responsibilities. Leadership, even in business, even in the churches, even in religious organizations, comes with responsibilities. So how do you respect somebody that doesn't take up the responsibilities that have been carved out for them somehow, right? But then this also brings me to the point where I understand that marriage and partnership, marriage is all about partnership. It's a team, 2 people working together, because both of you, your goals align, your values align, you're headed somewhere, right? And then regardless of how you want to get there, the goal is to be able to get there. That means that it's important to be kind. Kindness is an integral part of marriage or partnership or friendship, because if a man is kind to his woman, that you have 1 naira, and I'm able to see what you can do with your 1 naira, and you say, baby, right now, I just have this 1 naira. What can we do with this 1 naira? How can we feed with this 1 naira? I will respect that, and I will respect you for that, right? Yes, and because you've entrusted that to me, you've been vulnerable to me, and I know that you're not a lazy man. You're trying to provide within the capacity you can provide, then I can work with that. And then if you're kind to me, and then I become financially and economically empowered, and I have more than you do, then I can also share. So kindness is just...
Why is it that the men have to be the one to be the first to show kindness? Because
they be heads now. You know, men forget to lead. Yeah. We were recently discussing this actress, apart from the actress, myself, Ramatu, and was on, I think on Friday, we're in studio here discussing malice in marriage. We're discussing, and I'm thinking, why do men think malice? Okay, if you decide to keep malice in your home, and I decide to retaliate it, who will end it? Somebody has to take the lead. And if it has to be the woman each time apologizing, she's leading you. Yeah. If your home, your marriage is important, and your home is important, even if you have a little issue, leadership is that, oh, this fight we are fighting, madam, when is it going to end? Can we sit down and have a conversation? Exactly. But whenever the woman comes in to resolve it, she's leading you. It's not only financially. Yes. If it has to be the woman who spots that, oh, there's been no sex in this marriage, she's the same one who spots that there's been no this in this marriage. Nobody's leading her, she's leading herself. And if you have two, because when we bring ego into it, and we see men thinking, no, I must establish my authority, I'm the man. Your stating the man is not what makes you the man. It's in the roles that you play. Yeah. Oh, the roof is leaking. I have seen it. But if every time it's the woman that says the roof is leaking, or at night everybody has gone to sleep, you as the head and protector of your home did not check your gates. And in the morning, who left this gate open? And the woman has to do all of that over time. This is not even talking about money now. When we now bring an empowered woman into it, somebody was talking about an actress I have deep respect for and says, it's because she has money. And I said, no. She's been made to stand as the man in her life. Any man that wants to marry her will first of all come in, not with the mindset of she must submit. Because you must earn the respect of her to trust and think, oh, I don't need to provide anymore. I can relax. I'm safe. But if she looks at you and she can, hey, see one guy ahead of me, you're a spendthrift, you waste, she would most likely be like, I can't trust this person and risk my financial stability, my financial independence as against this person. And that lack of trust will make her not... But
they always say something that...
Use her feminine
whoever
side.
You get, you take it manage. Because you that went to go and say, this is the person. So if you unfortunately marry somebody who is not a leader, it's your kind of ones. I was watching a video recently, I think it was yesterday or this morning. Somebody saying that the Bible says that... I'm trying to remember the quote. He was just trying to say that man owns a woman. That you are owned by your husband. Because that according to him, that's God's intention. That you are called Lord in the Bible. I'm trying to remember the part of the Bible where someone was referring to her spouse as Lord and Master. So now, if your master in the Bible, if your master or Lord instructs you or doesn't instruct you, that is the leader you have chosen for your house. And regardless of that, of your choice, regardless of his directive, you have to obey. So in that sense, if you as the woman have chosen somebody who you think cannot lead you, it's your choice. Now, should we be forced to stay with those kind of people when you realize you're being led astray by the person you married?
Okay, so you said whether I've chosen or not chosen, that Lord is Lord, Master is Master. If you're Master and you're Lord, that means you're leader. So you will provide because you're Lord and Master. It has nothing to do with my choice. So I'm just trying to take it from from this perspective now, right? Which I don't even agree with. But if you're Lord and Master over me, right, and I'm servant and submissive, then you should play the roles of. There's no instruction here. There's a manual: Lord, the Master, servant. So if that's the role, you should play the role of Master. Provide. Make sure everything is available. So let me not be running around you, left, right, and center.
What if it determines, this is your point, what if it's the one to decide that, Amaka, why do you need 2 Samsung? Not be phone. Use one small Nokia and one this
No problem, your master. Now you're not the one that bought it and provided. If you go through this analogy now, which I don't agree with.
No, that's where most likely the disrespect will come in. So a woman might think, oh, I need 2 signature item. And the man thinks you just need item. You don't need signature. Leave signature alone. And the woman accepts first time. But her needs are still her needs. And because that's why that relationship is one of that must only exist when there's love and kindness. If over time she's showing up, she's shown you that, she's up to it and you still not think she's deserving of it, you can't blame her with time. It's just natural. With time, things will dwindle. That respect, if I can afford this cup, I can actually afford it. And I have shown you I can afford it. But now you are head of the house. And you forget that I'm an adult, that you have married. Because some people, those days, even in the Bible, the wives were young teenage girls. Young women, even in the Quran, the age of marriage then was quite different. Nowadays, you are marrying your best friend from school, you people are 2 years apart. Some 5 years apart. Even when you are 19 years apart, some men know they must show kindness. You are determining my needs, my wants. There's a time you can't continue to determine it.
Why did this person particularly say that you will naturally diminish your submissiveness?
That's the point. That's why I'm totally in agreement. When the person can't help themselves, when they have things to lose, they are afraid of what they can lose, you can control them.
I think
it is about control.
It's a choice, Nima. I think it's a choice.
No, I'm saying for men who like to be on top of in control. But when the person no longer has that fear, or when the person says, okay, I don't even want again, I don't want cup, I will drink with my hands.
From the woman's part. You can choose to remain submissive, regardless of...
With an effort. Exactly. With an effort. We are saying...
You can choose.
With a kind person, you can choose.
Yeah.
And you can sustain.
Yeah.
With a wicked and controlling person, with time, it's only a matter of time. It's a time bomb waiting to explode in your face.
So let me come from this angle. So if you can have a kind man that is willing to provide, right? But he's just naturally lazy. You can't push him out of bed. His brain just is not booting. He's not innovative. Nothing is just happening. But he's kind. So, right? Then you can have a man that might not be kind or too kind, but he's a hard worker. He's a provider. Like at the basics, like school fees, there's a roof over your head. But then the excesses, they're not excesses, your other needs, like you want to buy a handbag, or that frivolities. He's not kind enough to feel that you need those things, but he's doing the basics that in his mind. He feels that as a man I should do.
In his mind.
Yes, and then that you see that he's a hard worker, right? But then you as a woman, you become financially and economically empowered to do those things for yourself. So if you come from that perspective, here now, I'm sure what they're trying to say now, are you going to be submissive enough maybe to take permission to be able to provide those? No, I'm just trying to say, if you're supposed to be a family pool.
Let me bring a perspective that our producer was saying. He said that this generation of men want women to be both submissive and providers, and this isn't the natural order of things.
Yes.
So who determined the natural order of things? Because I shared before that, yes, a man is supposed to be a provider, but it's also the head of the family with or without his ability to provide. And I got that from Mrs. Ibokwa Weshika, which she said many years ago, that yes, he's supposed to provide, but there's some times where, for whatever reason, he's unable to. But that should not diminish his responsibility as the head of the family or the respect thereof. So the truth is that we are trying to force men into that. We have not forced them. That's their natural state that God has planned. But there are some times where it doesn't happen. That we must still be submissive and accept that, okay, this man cannot provide it, but yet he's still the head and leader of the house.
See, Morel, those are the exceptions. I always say that statement is very flawed. You know why I say it? A woman will naturally lean towards somebody. It's your reliance on that person. Oh, babes, I need rain. Babes, no, I don't want rain again, I want sun. Your constant need. That's why somebody used the word damsel. You have to be in distress. You constantly want to go. When you know that person, each time you go, it's like a child to their mom. Mommy, I want food. That child will always love and need and come. When the mom turns around and says, stop it, don't ask me for anything. Over time, when the child starts to provide for themselves, you see their authority start to come out. It's just natural. We're talking of psychology now. And it goes also with distrust. Okay, a man can determine for you not to use a mug, a ceramic mug, and say use plastic cup. But he goes out and buys a ceramic mug for himself. Yes. How will you do the respect?
Yes.
If earlier in the show, somebody had called me to speak with his wife and all of that she moved out of the house. The way he described house, oh my goodness. I said, what kind of woman will have somebody provide shelter in this economic that we are doing now? You know me, just hearing from him one side, I'd castigated this woman. And then so he says she doesn't pick numbers. Our family members have been calling her. By the time I spoke with that woman, I blocked the man.
Let me take this call, Alima. Let me pause you for a second. Good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Oh, we lost that caller.
Like I want to come from the polygamy. Sorry, are you done?
I wanted to finish the story of what I found when I called her. So a resident he was talking about, this woman had a vying job in Lagos. They were living in Lagos, in Alausa here. And he went to build a house far in Mowe. And the house, it was a property she and him had thought, okay, let's buy. We are building. He built a small BQ there. They were not even completing the toilet when he compelled her to move. And she said, no, the commuting to work will cost me. He said, no, you have to stop work. She had a baby, nursing a baby at the time. So she moved and thought, we are moving together, we are building together. And the man now said, okay, but because you are now there, I need to be in town. So that, and then he got a good accommodation, something that they could have both stayed here. He was deciding while he was leading, he was compelling suffering and hardship on her part and left her there. He said on the particular day she had to carry her baby, she was hungry, no food, and she was calling him, he wasn't picking. She was now broke. She had to go out of knocking on other people that were living in the community's doors to eat. When you demean a woman to that position, you can't blame her when she has to stand up. She had to stand up. She said, I secretly started a business myself. I secretly built myself, and I have gotten a house for myself. I never want to see him again. He didn't have that part, all those issues. And I said, did you tell him? She said, we had this conversation, and I have told him, where I am now, I have nothing to lose. With the security I've given myself now, I will never risk losing it again.
So I think also it's when you as a human being, even when it comes to businesses, when you push other people to find themselves and then to know that they can be independent outside of you. And I think we need to, in relationships or friendships or partnerships, we need to be careful not to, that reliance on each other is important, right?
Important.
It's super important. Okay, then I want to talk about the angle Maria talked about, like when it comes to polygamy. So we know the environment we find ourselves, the African setting, men believing that they can have more. They can have more than one woman and stuff. And then there's an adage where they say, it's an Igbo adage where they say like that, for you to cheat. So I don't know how to really say it in Igbo, but it means that for you to cheat, you need to acquire a certain status as a man for you to have that right, for you to even think of it or want to have that right. Because how can you not even provide, right? And then you want to go and do extra. Which brings me to this fact that like where most women now are doing a lot for themselves. We live in the world now where women are thriving, okay? Where women are really providing and supporting the homes. And it's painful where a man is not even cheating with his own money. Right? Then you work so hard to provide for the family, to cover that man, because we live in a part of the world where we're trained to cover our men. Even when he's not doing well, what things are not happening, we keep covering. Our family members feel that, oh, this mug is the man that bought it. Why you're the one that bought it? We cover a lot to shield the man, to protect his ego and everything. Because why society believes that, the African society believes that a man should be that provider. So you find that as women, even when you're the one providing, unconsciously somehow, even though you want to show yourself, you still unconsciously submit.
Yes,
because you want to still, when it comes to family, there's a shame factor in the fact that you're providing. You're providing. It's in our head, regardless of how stubborn the woman wants to be. Somewhere it's there, right? Absolutely. So yes. So then it's not more painful when the man is not using that your money and hard work to cheat. And it's just like pushing someone we keep pushing someone to, and then we keep pushing to test the person, know when they're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. And then they'll start reacting in different ways, which is disrespect. And then they get to the point where they start talking back and things start happening, things escalate. So it's also imperative and important that in a home where a woman is financially and economically empowered, that the man also has to work on himself.
Yes, to grow.
Yeah.
It takes two.
Yeah.
The man has to work on himself because, like you said, if the man is not working on himself, is not being kind, is not doing certain things he's supposed to do, that disrespect must happen.
Possibly.
Naturally, yes.
Okay, I think we can wrap up on this. I mean, I think I like the way you ended this. It's a good way that it takes two. You know, disrespect only happens when somebody obviously is not doing his own part of the bargain. And I think the reason why we talked about this is because a relationships coach braced it and he started bringing up all sorts of angles, and it was important for us to bring it back to the fore to remind everybody that these issues of relationship hasn't on two sides of the coin. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So Mariam is here. Welcome to the show, Mariam. Good to have you after the traffic. But first, I'll come to you in a second. Let me just invite our guest who's here. So we have a guest. She has a passion for innovation and deep understanding of consumer behavior, a champion for financial inclusion, which has given birth to her vision to revolutionize the loyalty landscape in Africa. She's currently the acting managing director of Bundle, a customer-centric, loyal platform, changing how businesses reward customers and drive growth. Welcome with us, Kemi Balogun in the building. Good to have you.
Thank you.
So I'll come back to you in a second because Mariam is just joining us because she's been in the craziest traffic in Lagos this morning.
Yes,
what happened?
I was at Ojota from 7:30 up until now.
Wow. What?
Yes, all that time. Of course, it's been raining all night long.
Yeah.
Well, even since yesterday for where I live. And driving to work today, of course, we know Korodu Road is completely flooded. You know, you had to even take like different routes because traffic back to back. Then you have all those big containers on the road as well because they have been sort of slowed down by the rain. And then we all ended up. So Maryland, there's traffic there, and then you drive up to Ojota, and then there's traffic forever. And then till I got here now, it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, you brought the heat, so that's good.
So why we open our phone lines for Nigerians to call in, especially for the flood, because lots of Nigerians are complaining on social media and showing us pictures from Third Mainland Bridge, the whole work. So send us your pictures and also call and let us know your experience. We'd like to offer our platform to you to share your experiences. But first, we have our Woman We Love segment here. Welcome to the show, Kemi.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome.
One of the things we do on this show is celebrate women who are doing different things in different fields. And when we heard of you as the acting managing director of Bundle, and we see all the work you've done in your industry, we just thought to come bring you on our show and share with us how you started, how you came into this industry, and just a bit about yourself and how you worked your way here, so we can all learn from your experience.
Okay, so my name is Kemi Balogun. Thanks for inviting me. I think I started off within the risk management industry, and I worked there practically for about 10 years across health, insurance typically. I'd done a bit of marketing. I think that was practically for about 2 months. And then I went back to school after 10 years of working, studied strategy and innovation in Side Business School, and also did my MBA at Imperial College. Since then, I've worked within the tech industry, literally for innovation, where I served within VFD Group, and recently appointed the acting managing director of Bundle, which is a loyalty platform that rewards customers for every single action they make, technically.
So I hear that loyalty platforms a lot. Some people say you have loyalty card. What exactly? How does it translate to rewards for the buyer?
Okay, so for us, it's literally instant gratification for every single action you make. So I'll say I go to a store to buy something and I want to get my points there. I know a lot of people have said over time that they've had rewards and they couldn't get it back once the company stopped. So we're literally like the middleman between the company, whose focus is not to reward, where that business, and every single point is 10 naira on our platform. So as you earn, like you get points, you literally are earning something from that business. What we've also done for large institutions is literally carry out to build a loyalty as a service platform that allows them to integrate directly with those with our platform, so it doesn't stop their daily businesses across the board.
Let's go back to how you started off school-wise. Where did you go to school? How did you get into? Or did you always wanted to be a techie person from the beginning?
So I started off studying economics in Babcock, and then I went into risk management. I think I got a bit bored. But working with the MD then, who is also a female, a woman, and she had said to me, you know, there's this course in Oxford that would literally suit what your dreams and help you align with your dreams, and it was strategy and innovation. So I took a year off, went back to school, and it was fun. And while I was in with AXA, I think what I did more was technology and partnerships and also integrations with other companies. So it really spiked that aspect of me to see what I could do differently. I think over time, I also started an agri-tech business, which I stopped. I tried to sell livestock online. So it was all that whole, while I worked with AXA, that helped me to realize the need for technology and how I could impact different businesses across board. But yes, working within in Bundle has been a different experience because it's actually giving back to the society. It's practically different from what it is that we do because it's enriching the lives of individuals, helping businesses to grow in terms of customer retention, helping businesses to keep their customers and also get new businesses across board. Yeah.
So you
What would you say?
Okay, sorry.
That's fine.
Okay. So you talked about like trying to sell livestock online. So was that when you spearheaded the development of a credit product for small-scale farmers in collaboration with Lagos Business School and VFD?
No, that was quite different. So the livestock was while I worked with AXA, and I kind of wanted to do something of my own. And because at that time it was more of AXA would literally empower you to do your own things as well. So I had that time to work around both. I wanted to do something around tech, and I realized that there was a need for livestock. And each time you wanted to buy livestock during the peak period, because of demand and supply, the prices just increased. Yeah. So I had that experience within how I can provide. I could provide life insurance to the farmers as well and health insurance across this platform. Aside from just selling the livestock, that's what this happened. But in terms of the partnership with LBS, literally was how we could create embedded finance through the bank, the VFD Microfinance Bank, and how we can empower farmers as well. So it was still that whole knowledge of the farming ecosystem and how we can bring credit to little farmers across board. And we were able to create an embedded finance products literally for this category of people.
Do you have any young people that, go ahead, Mary.
So listening to you, I feel like you're motivated, I may be wrong, just motivated by maybe doing good than profit. Is there anything really in your growing up years that may have, sort of guided you that way? So, all the jobs you've talked about, you're very consistent in describing how it has benefited nearly everyone in that ecosystem. So I'm hearing that a lot. Is that something that I got right, or I'm imagining?
I would say every business, you really want to make a profit, so that's key and that's given. However, you also don't want to start a business that doesn't empower people. I think that's where a lot of businesses fail. Where you just create things that people don't need and it doesn't help your life. So how do I enrich you? How do I ensure that whatever products and services I'm bringing will better your life? It's literally in that. So if there's no purpose, for me, I don't think...
So not many people actually think that way.
Oh,
Some people think like, well, how do I go and cash out?
Oh, okay.
So to hear you say that, so I'm thinking, is there something about you or your upbringing that, is it Christianity, is it religion, is it anything that made you feel, wherever I go, I want to make such an impact that I just don't make money out of it.
I think it's literally maybe my mentors and how I've watched them grow their businesses over time. So I've seen businesses that have failed short term and businesses that have grown over time. Working particularly across the risk management company which I have worked in, and VFD has helped me to realize that it's really where I work right now is that every single action you make has to create that sort of value. I think my mentors will always say, if you're not creating value, then you should be out of business, really. And so it helps businesses grow over time. So if you're not that person, you will just be there for like 2-3 years. But you want to grow a business that your children and grandchildren can actually work. So it's generational wealth. I think that's how you start businesses now.
We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining. We see the work you do, and we just wanted to encourage you as women like you. So you know what, do an amazing job in the tech world. And we're always here to support you in whatever you're doing.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right.
We're going to go on a short break now. We'll come back, we'll continue with the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So it's a rainy Wednesday in Lagos today, and everywhere is wet and flooded. Even areas that don't normally flood, whatever today, it's flooded. We'd love to open our phone lines to Nigerians to call us from all over the state, and even in the outside Lagos, in case you're experiencing similar rains in your own area. Please give us a call on 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourviewTVC so we can read your tweets. Share with us your experiences today so far with the rains out there. I'll start with Miriam because she just got in. Yes. And which area exactly was flooded when you were coming? Which area did you see?
Like I said, so Ikorodu Road, definitely parts of it were flooded as of the time I was there. The other side, which is where water is going back, that's completely shut down. I don't even know when those people will get to work or if their school runs, whatever. But coming, after a few meters like that, then there's serious flooding. So you divert off like the service lanes and, get back on the express. But then once you hit that Maryland under that bridge, then you're in traffic until, at the time I got there, there was a bit of space, so drove to that bridge towards Ojota. Now that's where you'll be in traffic up until I got here. And I see that once you get on the express as well, the express here, there's traffic all the way. So all those that are going, towards, that's the Ibadan axis, they're completely stuck in traffic. So it's really terrible, and there's flooding everywhere, yes. So there were parts where my car really went deep into the water. Much smaller cars, those ones that were nearly covered.
You drive a Mercedes, right? I'm always scared of Mercedes, because Mercedes always have issues in water. I was worried for you. Okay. Well, I don't know, maybe they fixed it, but so the time that Mercedes, we see lots of Mercedes stopping on the road. But we'd like to get some videos, pictures. I think our producer is working on a few videos. I think Third Mainland Bridge ahead. Third Mainland Bridge, that's our brand new Third Mainland Bridge ahead is flooded. Yes.
Is it the bridge itself? Or
Yes, that one that goes down. Yeah, that goes down there. So that area, there's water everywhere.
I think I'll just advise everybody that doesn't. Sorry.
Coming to work, I usually take that end. I come in through the Bagada, to work just to avoid, because I think it's higher. So for coming, we're even having, water puddles everywhere, but those below going inwards, Third Mainland were already blocked. All the way from Third Mainland, not just your end. All the way from Third Mainland, you can see the traffic this way, all the car lights, because it was still dark. I got in before 7, but around 6:48 today. And the stretch of the traffic had gotten to Ogudu. So for you to understand, I'm wondering how it will be now. The way Miriam is saying, I'd rather choose going home. I have this, I don't know if it's scientific. If it rains and the rain comes from the east towards my window, it's usually expected that it won't be so flooded. But if it's coming from the west for me, I'll be like, this rain will flood, God, please.
Yeah, how do you know where the rain is coming from?
Okay, so I know the east because I pray towards the east. So when it's flooding, it's raining this way, I'll be like, okay, you can measure it from experience living there. Then if it's coming from the west, and this morning was coming from the west, all the clothes I put outside, everything, the windows, I was like, this rain, God. I told myself, this is the kind of rain you go back in your blanket and sleep. But then I still carried my laptop and bags and thought after work I will go to the firm.
Thank you for coming to work. We appreciate that you made
it. See, you see the rain, the prediction now. Everywhere is flooded, and I don't know how I'm going to get back home.
And it's so funny how yesterday I told you that there were just showers of rain and Lekki Phase 1 was flooded. So I would just advise anybody that lives in Lekki Phase 1, if you cannot swim, because today is the swimming day.
Oh, please.
I'm telling you, as in yesterday, there were just showers of rain, and as in my car went so deep into the water, you cannot imagine today what's going to happen. So if you can't swim, just stay at home. If you have no business, if it's not urgent, stay at home. I was supposed
to go today. I have a meeting in Ikoyi after the show. I'm not going.
We will not even leave this gate.
Make it virtual.
I'm going to tell the I want to call the please, guy. I cannot make a meeting.
But I don't know. Maybe when the rain stops and it starts getting dry, things.
It's not going to dry.
My secretary just dropped a message now that she has not gotten a bus since, and she just wants to try from Oshodi, Mafuluk, where she lives, to Ikeja. She cannot get transport. Everywhere is flooded.
Yeah.
Me too, I've seen pictures of Oshodi under the bridge. That's Oshodi Sale, not the Oshodi Oke now. Flooded. So it's most likely going to be like that around town. Yeah. The Oshodi end from that Toyota bus stop today, I took the service lane. Immediately, I will go in the middle lane. I went to the service lane, passed in front of the charity military barracks, and stayed on that extreme end because it's a bit higher. You can predict where the water, even though the roads are flooded, you can predict at least your car will go up small on that side. And I saw the people that took the risk of passing that middle lane, how they were now stuck in the water. I was like, you don't know this road.
Anyway.
It's always been. But the cause of this flood, Mariah, let's say the truth, is clogged drainages. And Lagosians must carry the answer by themselves. In my neighborhood, the reason why we're suffering it is because we have people who live and dump their waste using stick to push it into the gutters. We have these wide gutters. That's what they did for us, at least this wide. You could stand on top of it and it is full with wastage. This styrofoam plates that they ban, you put there. Pure water sachets, you put the bottles, this high. You stand on top of it and they still defecate on it. I started doing exercises, walking with my husband on weekends. And my husband was like, I'm not walking with you again. You see my eye, don't be carrying me past this corner. Past this corner. You know, what we are doing with our hands, we cannot come and call government alone for it. Because why will Oshodi be flooded? And it's not even abating in a few hours.
So this is like...
Oshodi, is it Lekki? Is Surulere Lekki? Is under the bridge, straight fair, is it Lekki? These were areas where when it rains, the waters go after a while. So but if the water is not going...
Third Mainland Bridge, this is Third Mainland Bridge, the Yanaworo...
Maybe you see the waste by that bridge.
We call it Third Mainland Bridge. Or so
be careful to say the linking to Third Mainland Bridge. That's Third Mainland Bridge going over there.
Yeah, exactly.
You can see that this is the...
this is not even too bad.
Because my brother even had an early flight catch this morning. He said that his Uber was now spoiled. Yes, we had the water and everything. That it was just such a stressful morning.
We need to discuss waste management and waste collection again. Yes. The way we used to emphasize it once upon a time on the show, we need to emphasize it again. They need to start to punish neighborhoods where Thursdays you are not packing your waste and the lawmas don't come and pack it. We need to start to talk about it. Because this flood that we are all experiencing, that we're shouting, there's clogged drainages. Some people are building in my estate. One person will carry sandbags and block drainages because his house is lower and he doesn't want the water coming from up.
Let me pause you for a second. I'm told we have the Commissioner for Environment on the phone with us, Honorable Tokunbo Wahab. This is obvious, just like Nima said, this obviously is as a result of all clogged drainages. Good morning, sir. Hello, Honorable Wahab. Okay, we lost him. Hopefully he can call back. Just as he said, because I even want to find out from him, the places, the buildings they pulled down on the island, has it
allowed for better?
Has it allowed for better flow of the water in those areas? That's one. What other areas is it looking to see to ensure that they clear the drainages and pull down houses that are blocking the drainages? So it would be good to hear from him on exactly what's being done, because Lagos is almost practically underwater right now because of all the rains consistently.
There was a prediction one time that says most of Lagos will be underwater by, was it 2030? And I remember Morel just going like this.
God forbid.
God forbid.
This 2030 is tomorrow.
Well, I'm still trying to make sure that, I got the date right, but I know that there's a prediction that shows that Lagos State, not too distant future, will be mostly underwater. And so I understand the Commissioner of Environment, this particular commissioner, I think he's much more...
Proactive.
Yeah, proactive, or he seems to be much more insistent on making sure that Lagosians, do what is right by the environment. But yes, we have problems of waste management, definitely. Individually, now, we cannot all point to government in this case. Individually, in our homes and the way that we live our lives, how do we, how do we take care of our waste? What do we do when we're walking around? Where does our waste end up? And that's on one side. On government side too, what is the long-term plan on making sure that once we clear, because I see that happening now, there's some kind of waste, so it's not plastic or anything, but like builders, they'll do some building, then they'll heap it over drainages, and the rain comes and you see that it starts to form a whole puddle and flooding around that place. So it looks like there are other types of waste also that government has not been able to find out how they can immediately excavate, Then there's climate change, whether we like it or not. We're going to have more rains this year, I hear, than any other years so far. So what are we doing also government-wise to make sure that people do not suffer the,
I'm told the commissioner is back on the phone. Good morning, sir. What is wrong with our lines?
Is it the rain?
Is the rain?
Could it be the rain? Oh, okay, we thought we lost you. So, Lagos is practically flooded today. What do you have to say about it?
Thank you, Morayo. To start with, I think I want to just appeal to our people.
Go ahead, we can hear you, sir. Hello? Okay, we can't hear you at all in the studio. We're trying to get him back because maybe our phone lines are also flooded. The phone masts.
Well, I wanted to say, being in traffic, I know that it's raining, but I would have loved to see more of our LASMA and traffic personnel on the roads. That would help really to maintain some order. As you know, Nigerians, when there is no personnel to watch us and tell us how to move, we're just in each other's lanes. And so that has caused major traffic in places that otherwise would have just flown freely.
Okay, let's go to try to on a very short break. When we come back, we'll try to see if we can bring our guest back. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still talking about the floods going on right now in Lagos. Let's take a few comments on social media. What about people saying?
Not about the flood, about the part I missed. How did I miss this hot topic? But Bilkis says, not true. There's nothing natural about arrogance. A submissive woman would be submissive regardless. It's mostly about character, and it shouldn't be generalized for every woman being a provider instead of the husband. There are good, godly, and humble women out there. And then Oluwa Pelumi says, agree or not, men don't stop being the providers.
Ogumala Emmanuel says, what you're talking about is the inherent characteristics of a woman who prefers a man to be always ahead of her intellect and financial status. If a more capable woman marries a man below her status, whether he's a hard worker or not, see finish will happen by default. But let's go to the environment topic. Dame Ebika says Lagosians should stop pouring out their waste in the drainages. Someone was talking about building modern infrastructure. I think I refreshed and I've lost it.
Andrew in Streatham says, Miriam, it is... Okay, I don't know. Antarctica is melting and the ocean levels are rising. By 2015, Banana Island would have totally submerged and the sea would have conquered VI. Also, this Andrew in Streatham. And he says,
he was a meteorologist.
Also, almost every house in Lagos has its ground cemented. Where would the water go? So yes, a lot of houses in Lagos, we all have those paved.
Nobody is, yes, we don't have
so water does not
anymore.
Exactly.
So the Mebika says, Lagosians, especially mainland people, need to stop throwing rubbish into the roads and gutters. I agree. I see too many. This one says, the commissioner will only come here and make excuses. Just reason said Tokunbo Wahab would only talk about the citizens' misdemeanors and not what government is doing. Not that government is failing the people with poor infrastructure.
Anyway, we have to wrap up on that. But the truth is that every Nigerian can write a book about what government is doing wrong. In fact, the baby that is inside the womb will tell you that Nigeria did this, government is bad, they are corrupt, they've not cleared listen, we can write an encyclopedia on what government is doing. When do we start talking to ourselves and stop worrying about who is highlighting what we're doing? I mean, it irks me. The easiest thing to do for anybody to sit behind their phone is to government did this, government did that. Yes, I can tell you what government did off the top of my head. But we also must begin to highlight what we have to do, just like you said, to stop, bag your trash, tie it up, put it in the bin. But no, they throw it. I still people throwing it
It's a collaboration. So I've done, let's say I do my part.
Yes.
And what happens with Loma picking up? Yeah. What happens with, there are different levels to it. Also, where we finally dump it, how are we managing that waste, And
don't allow people come and raid your bin. When people come, you might do your part, and then all those people that come they come and then they open it and the scavengers scatter it.
So the point I was trying to make is that the government part, we know, we see, we read, we see it every single day. We need to also start reminding ourselves what to do. So community leaders, church leaders, estate leaders, let's remind ourselves of what our responsibilities are.
I need to say this. We've been generating our water because water corporation has failed, government has failed.
Yeah.
We have learned to generate our power. We even talked about it earlier because government has failed. Where government is saying, we're charging you band A, but there's really no band A power, but you must pay it. Nigerians will resort to generating. We don't need to start to resort to recycling our waste. The environmental impact of a Nigeria and each of us, the recycling, if I choose to burn my waste, everybody is burning. Imagine what will happen to the ozone. Government has a role of the collective and they must play it.
Nobody is disputing that.
No, that's
I'm just reminding you that thing you just said, we've said it a million times. Anyway, I have to run off there, but let me end with this. We are experiencing, I think the Commissioner of Environment was trying to reach us, but we can't reach him. So he sent a message saying that we are experiencing flash flooding because the tidal level of the lagoon is high. So that's the reason why we're having this flood. And so it could cause us a flash flooding. So that means it's just for this moment, this season. Because the tidal level of the lagoon is high. So I guess we still need to bring him back to give us more clarity on what's being done as regards clearing of the drainages and pulling down buildings that are built on the drainage channels across the state. Yes. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.